Hello everyone and welcome to today's IELTS speaking practice class, where we will have the opportunity to do speaking practice and get feedback on areas of strength and weakness in relation to the different sections of the IELTS speaking test. My name is Alex. So welcome to those who are watching the class on both YouTube and Facebook, and also welcome to those who are joining us directly in the stream today on StreamYard. I look forward to doing as much practice as possible with those of you who join us directly on the stream. So just before we start to look at the class today, I want to first of all just make you aware of the IELTS scholarship program. And this is an exciting scholarship opportunity to join this program. And sorry, just 1 minute. Let's bring up some information on this for you, just so you can take advantage of this program. Just going to bring this up now. Okay. So here we are. As I stated, we've got the IELTS scholarship program, which you can sign up for today. And this is a great opportunity to join a program which is going to move you forward. I'm going to share some information in the chat. So if you want to join, you can send an email to joy@Connetics. And so you'll see that in the chat just now. Okay, so hi to those who are coming into the chat. I can see Darshana, Jayshri, and Shasi. Hello to all of you. And Obina as well, hello to you. Welcome to the class today. Okay then, so let's have a look at some information relating to the speaking today. I'm going to do a bit of an introduction to some of the tasks. Some of you are going to be more familiar with these tasks than others, but it's always useful to review exactly what it is that we should be doing with the IELTS speaking in order to achieve the grade that we're looking to achieve. So I'll be looking at a quick description of the tasks and also some tips in relation to them. So what I'm going to be focusing on today is tasks 1 and 2. So let's have a look at those together. So first of all then, a description of speaking part 1. It usually lasts for between 4 to 5 minutes, and you will be expected at the beginning of the task to give your full name and some identification to prove that you are the person that you say that you are. The questions for part 1 relate to common topics, such as you can see, your hometown, family, job, or studies. On top of these common topics, which are included in most of the speaking tests, you will also get 2 to 3 other topics which are less common, and they can range from, examples that we have here are travel, hobbies, and national celebrations, but there are a range of other topics which could come up for speaking part 1 as well. Some tips then for speaking part 1. For the questions that you get here, the key is to answer the questions directly. So don't answer another question that is not related to part 1, to the actual question that you've been asked. Make sure that you do focus on the question that you are asked, to show that you are able to give a direct and appropriate response. When it comes to developing your response and adding more detail, this is something which you should do where appropriate. Not all questions are going to allow for much extension. So there are going to be some questions which are quite basic. Obviously, the beginning ones, what is your name? Where do you come from? There's only a certain amount of extension that you can provide there. But there are some questions where you can provide development, particularly where there's the opportunity to answer questions with why. So if you're asked, what is your favorite type of music, for example, you can give the answer, but also you should say why that's your favorite type of music to show some development on that question. Obviously, it's important to use appropriate grammar for speaking. That's one of the criteria that you are graded on. Examples of this obviously is using the past tense where appropriate, using the present tense where appropriate, or in reference to the future, obviously making sure that you're using these tenses correctly. And also, if you're making comparisons, that's something which can come up in part one. You might be comparing, for example, the music of today compared to the music of the past. Then making relevant comparisons is important when it comes to doing that. Use appropriate vocabulary. So make sure that the vocabulary that you use is relevant to the question, and make sure as well that you are avoiding repetition. So when it comes to vocabulary, using a range of words is much better than just repeating the same words. So this is key to when it comes to scoring highly in the vocabulary section of the exam. The other sections, obviously, you should be looking at pronunciation as well. That's a key part of the exam, making sure your pronunciation is accurate, but also stress, thinking about your stress. So you might say, if you're answering a question on your favorite band, if I said, my favorite band is Radiohead, that doesn't really communicate much in terms of stress and using my stress appropriately. So what I should be saying is, my favorite band is Radiohead. So I'm stressing the most important words in the utterance, in the sentence that I'm speaking, and I'm communicating meaning by doing that. So this is where you should be thinking as well about sort of adding to your score by using stress to communicate meaning appropriately. And also as well, intonation. I want you to think about your intonation and how you can use this to communicate effectively. So if you're communicating information you're excited about, show that you're excited. Rising intonation to show how excited you are is something that is going to help to communicate your message more clearly and more appropriately within the context of the part one. So obviously you don't want to exaggerate this. It should be natural. But yeah, using a variety of appropriate intonation is definitely something which you will benefit from when it comes to IELTS scores. Okay, so these are some tips then for part one. What I want us to do now is to get on and actually do some practice. So just having a look here, I can see there are some questions about the scholarship program. Please do send an email to Joy at Connetics to get more information about this, so that you can find out more on this opportunity that is being presented. So yeah, you'll get more information about that if you do contact Joy. So hello to those that have just joined the chat. I can see we've got Joy Marie has joined, as has Abigail. We've also got Uptown JK as well has also joined. So welcome to all of you. So in terms of the practice then, looking here, I can see we've got Anna. So Anna, I'm going to bring you in now so that we can do some practice together. So let me do that now. Are you there, Anna?
Yes, sir.
That's great. Okay, welcome to today's class. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Glad to hear it. And where are you? Where are you
I'm from
based?
S- I'm from Singapore. I'm not. I think you know my twin sister. It's Avon Paragas. She attended your MAC exams in speaking before.
Who's that? Sorry.
Avon, Avon,
She attended the
Avon.
mock exam.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it was you who scored her. But anyway, she passed the exam already.
Okay. Congratulations.
Yes.
Okay, it's good to hear. So, so you said you're from Singapore.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Um, so, okay, Anna, we're going to do some practice now with part one. And you can see we've got here some questions that you would get at the beginning of the test. So just to point out, you won't be able to see the questions for part one in the real test, but they're here just so you can see examples of what you will be presented with. Have you done the test before, Anna?
No, not yet.
Okay. Okay. So here we are then. It'll be a bit of an introduction for you. So, Anna, do you work or study?
I'm currently working as a post anesthesia care nurse in Singapore, which is basically rendering care to post operative patients. I've been working here for almost 7 years.
Very nice. And do you enjoy your work?
Absolutely. I love as I've said, I love rendering care to those who are in need and those who are in sick. So I'm a naturally caring person, so I'm very satisfied with what I'm doing.
Okay. And how long have you been studying English?
I've been studying English since I was little, but then again, it's not a really proper English because when I'm back in the Philippines, it's our second language. It's not our first language.
Okay. And why are you studying English at the moment?
I'm studying English so that I can pass the IELTS examination so that I will be able to achieve my ultimate dream to becoming a nurse in the United States.
Okay. Right. So I'm just going to move on to a few other questions now, Anna. So the topic that I'm going to move on to have a look at now is related to your house or flat. So first question, do you live in a house or flat?
Currently, I'm living in a flat which has 3 bedroom and it is in the metro, so I can just like stroll away and then get to the amenities that uh is nearby.
Okay. And why is it that you live in this apartment?
Because here in Singapore, when you live in a bungalow house, you are in the highest. I mean, you are rich. But now I'm here in Singapore. I'm just working as an OFW, so I really cannot afford to buy bungalow houses. So I'm up to live in a HDB flat.
And how long have you lived there?
I've been living here for almost 7 years already, and it's really amazing because it's just a small HDB flat, so I can clean and I mean I can make my HDB flat more tidy.
What is your favorite room?
My favorite room is the room that I am currently in. It's my bedroom because it's just like lovely here, got a lot of pink color, so it makes me feel happy.
And do you plan to live there in the future?
No, not really. I plan to moving to the United States because, as I said, my sister is ongoing her processing in to live in the United States. So I want to come with her as soon as possible.
And what kind of accommodation do you wish to have in the future?
I wish to have a big house because I came from a big family, so I need to have a lot of bedrooms as well as a big living area and dining area.
Okay, that's great. Okay, well, thank you very much, Anna, for getting us started today. You seem to handle those questions pretty well. You're
Thank
very
you. I'm
comfortable.
scared. No, I'm scared.
You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. Yeah, you did. You handled those questions very well. You were very confident. You spoke in a fluent manner, and you expanded with relevant details in relation to the questions as well. So that was great. There was some nice use of vocabulary and grammar. Particularly, I like the fact that you use the present perfect continuous. You talked about I've been living here for almost 7 years. Um, just a couple of grammatical slips that I just want to point out to you, though, is that you said at one point you said my dream is to becoming, but if you're using that structure, my dream is it should be to become rather than my dream is to becoming. And
Yes.
that came up again later on as well, because you also said I plan to moving. So it should be I plan to move rather than I plan to moving. So do bear in mind that with the with to, most often we use to plus the infinitive. So plan to plus move. My dream is to, and then become. So that was just a slip that I noticed there with the grammar.
Okay. Mm.
And just one other small thing as well. I just noticed with you, you talked about your flat and you said it has 3 bedroom. Just make sure that you're using obviously the plural forms appropriately as well. So it's just a couple of grammatical slips there, but definitely, yeah, very strong in terms of fluency. Pronunciation was very clear, and there was good use of vocabulary in your responses as well. So yeah, so good stuff there, Anna.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, so that's great. We're going to move on. We're going to stick with task 1 just for now. We're going to look at some new questions. So let me just bring another student into the chat. So Alice, I can see, is here. Just going to bring you in. So are you there, Alice?
Yes, I am, Alex.
Wonderful. How are you doing today?
Not bad.
Good, good, good. Okay. So which country are you in at the moment, Alice?
Well, I'm currently living in Kenya. It is one of the countries in East Africa.
Yeah. And that where you're from, Kenya?
Yes, I am a native of the Kenya country.
Okay, wonderful. So we're going to continue with part 1 then, Alice. And as I said, we're going to look at some new questions. So this time we're going to look at the topic of reading. So Alice, can you tell us, do you like reading?
Well, I would say to some extent, I love reading the current affairs, mostly the newspapers, because I like keeping abreast with what is happening in my country, and more so even internationally.
Okay, very interesting. And do you like to read at home or in other places?
Well, it depends. Whenever I get time, either during my free time at work, when I'm having my break time, I can read the newspaper. I can also read on the internet just to keep myself updated on whatever is happening. Mostly at home over the weekend, whenever I get some time, I also like reading.
Okay. And do you like to read by yourself or with other people?
Well, I would say that due to the circumstances that nowadays find most people, it's very hard to find yourself in a group of other colleagues because everyone is quite busy. So most of the time, I would say that I do it alone.
Do any of your family members read regularly?
Well, to be honest, I have one of my young brothers. He likes reading a lot, especially when it comes to books that talks about how to motivate somebody in their own life. And I admire that a lot.
And what was your favorite book or story when you were a child?
We used to have a small book when I was in grade 1, I think grade 1 or 2. We used to call it Mary and Tom, because it used to talk about a family that had a mother, a father, a girl, and a boy. And it used to be very interesting reading about the stories.
Do you think it's important that children read at an early age?
I think it is very important because it helps them to build up on their skills in terms of speaking, reading, and also being able to listen, because if they don't understand the language at an early age, it becomes very difficult for them in the future.
Okay. And do you think people read less now compared to in the past?
To be honest, I think most people nowadays don't read. They are mostly on the internet. And what they read on the internet is mostly about what is happening, like about the celebrities. They keep on liking other people's posts, but not necessarily reading.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Alice. So again, some really nice development on the points there. You know, relevant responses were given. Your responses were not overly extended, but at the same time, they weren't too short either. So you're giving the right level of response and the right amount of content to each of the questions. So so that was great to hear. Some really nice vocabulary using there. You were talking about to keep abreast of current events. So that's a nice expression to use. You also talked about the fact that you like to keep yourself. You said to keep yourself updated. Probably a slightly more natural expression might be to keep yourself up to date.
Up to date. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
But the idea was very clear. Yeah, and as I say, definitely relevant responses to the questions. Some nice use of time phrases as well. For that final question, you were saying that most people nowadays don't read. Nowadays is a common term that's used in people's writing, but it's also very commonly used in speaking as well. So it was good that you used that. In terms of your grammar, very accurate. I didn't hear any grammatical slips throughout there, so that was great. And your pronunciation is very clear as well. So yeah, so thank you very much, Alice. Some really good responses there.
Thank you very much, Alex.
No worries. Okay, so let's bring in another student to do one more part one topic, and then after that we will move on to look at part two. So Netra, I'm going to bring you in now.
Hello.
Hi Netra, how are you?
Hi. Yeah, I'm fine, Alex.
Good. Where are you at the moment, Netra?
I'm from India. I'm in Mumbai right now.
Okay, great. And how is that where you're from? Were you born in Mumbai?
Yeah. I born and brought up in Mumbai only.
Okay, and you're studying for the IELTS. Why is that? What are you looking to do going forward?
Yeah, I'm studying this IELTS syllabus just to get my score in IELTS examination, so I can go further with my visa screening, because I have been in this process for around 1 year now, and that is my necessity to score that IELTS. That to have a IELTS score.
And that's the visa process, is it, to go over to the United States?
Yes, of course.
Naturally. Okay, that's great. Okay, so Netra, I'm going to move on to a different topic with part one.
Yes.
This time we're going to look at the topic of your hometown. So tell me, where is your hometown?
Oh, my hometown is actually a small village, and it's in the southern part of my country itself, but it is away from the hustle and bustle of city life, and it has beautiful landscapes, and main occupation of the city on the villagers is farming.
Okay. Do you like your hometown?
Yes, of course. I have been there for around 17 years when I was a child, and I love my hometown. Recently, I had been there for around 1 week just to visit my father.
And how could your hometown be improved?
Oh, when I was a child, that time we used to suffer a lot for basic amenities, but now government has implemented certain now basic amenities are there. For example, school is there, market is there, bank, police stations, post office. So I think to live there now is a quite better place compared to olden days.
Okay. And do you think your hometown is a good place to bring up children?
Yes, of course. If someone love to be in a slow-paced life, then for that person, this is the excellent place to stay over there. But nowadays, people prefer to live in urban places rather than rural. So for them, it's not a better option.
Is there good public transportation in your hometown?
Yes, of course. Now roadways are well developed over there. Now government transport system is well established and frequency is quite good compared to olden days, and majority of people have their own vehicles too. So yes, I can say that.
And finally, when did you leave your hometown?
I left my hometown when I was a 17-year-old, and I got enrolled for the for my further education in Mumbai city. And that time I left my village, but very often, at least once a year, I do go over there and to visit because my parents and my elder brother is there. So every year I visit my hometown.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you very much for that, Netra. Again, very, very confident in your responses. You gave a good, fluent response to each of the questions. And you used a variety of vocabulary as well. I think one point, though, that I would say where there was a little bit of difficulty was sometimes in pronunciation. There were some words that weren't completely
Yes.
clear to me. For example, in the question that I asked you about, do you like your hometown? There was a word which I wrote down. I couldn't understand. It's like Papami or something. Was that the name of the place? Maybe.
No, I don't remember what is that word.
Yeah. So, but there were just like a few. There were just like a few
Okay.
occasions where I just wasn't quite sure exactly what the word was. So it's just something to be aware of, because if there is a problem where the examiner's not sure exactly what you're saying,
Okay.
then
Okay.
obviously that's going to affect the pronunciation score. So
Okay, I need to concentrate on my pacing. I need to slow down, I think.
I mean the pacing was good. I think the issue is there's certain words where maybe the stress is not
Okay.
quite clear.
Stress and pronunciations. Okay.
Exactly, and usually it's vowels. If the vowel sound is incorrect, then it can be actually very difficult to understand the word that's used, because a lot of the meaning in the word actually comes from the vowel sound. So
Okay.
and getting the vowel sound wrong can change the meaning of a word significantly. So yeah, just be aware of that. There's an expression that you
Okay.
used a couple of times as well. You use the term olden days. So, and that is a correct expression, but it's more common that we might say, in sort of in the past, or the way things were before.
Okay.
It's not as common now to use the expression olden days as it was maybe
Okay.
in the past. So
Okay.
yeah, just a point there. And just another one in terms of pronunciation as well. This one was clear, I understood the word, but you talked about the southern part of the city, but the pronunciation should be southern.
Southern. Yeah.
Yeah.
Southern part. Yeah.
So that's just an example I was saying where the vowel isn't quite there. It was clear what the word was, but yeah, just a bit of inaccuracy. Just a final point there, Netra. When using tenses, so you use the present perfect quite a lot, but you didn't always use it appropriately. So you said at one point, "I've been there when I was a child," but when I was a child, that's in the past. It's finished. So you should use the past tense for that. So I was there when I was a
Okay.
child, or you could use used to. So I used to live there when I was a
Okay.
child. It's
Okay.
possible as well.
Right.
And just a final example, you said recently I've been there one day to visit my father. But again, you're talking about the past. It began and it ended in the past. So it'd be more correct to say recently I was there for a day to visit my father.
Okay.
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 But yeah,
Thank you, Alex.
no worries, Netra. Thank you very much for participating.
Okay. Thank you.
And cheers, and we'll look to move on now. So we're going to move on to look at part 2 for the second part of the session. Just before I do that, I just want to make you aware again of the scholarship opportunity. As I'm going to write in the chat, all of this, the information for this, you will find if you contact Joy. But it is a program that we have which you can sign up to today. And if you are interested in finding out more information about this, then do contact Joy in order to get that information. So I've just shared again the email address that you should contact in the chat. So do make sure that you have a look at that if that's something that you are interested in. So Jayshree, yeah, you've asked about it. As I say, do have a look. Do send an email to Joy about this to get further information, and there will also be further information on this in the coming days and weeks as well. Okay, so we'll move on to look at part 2. I have noticed as well in the chat there were some questions about participating. For those who are participating in the class, there is it's for those who are part of the group, part of the scholarship program. So that is an opportunity there if you wish to get involved in the in these classes and actually do some practice live going forward. So for looking at part 2 then, I'm going to bring Eagle into the class now. So let me just bring you in. Are you there, Eagle?
Yeah, hello.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
Yep, I'm pretty good, thank you. And where are you at the moment?
I'm here in the Philippines.
Okay. And are you from the Philippines?
Yes.
All right, brilliant. Okay then, Eagle. So we're going to do some practice in just a moment. Just before we do, a quick introduction to part 2. So part 2 usually lasts for between 3 to 4 minutes in total, and that's taking into account the time it takes to for the examiner to explain the task, and also the preparation time that you will have as well. So it will begin with the question being presented to you. You then have 1 minute to prepare your response. And then once you have prepared your response, during which time you can make some notes, you should speak for up to 2 minutes. So that's a quick introduction then to part 2 of the exam. Some tips. So the first tip for this is make sure that you do speak for 2 minutes or until the examiner stops you. So sometimes with the examiner, they'll hear you speak for a minute or just over a minute and they'll think, okay, that's fine, I've heard enough. But in other cases, the examiner will expect you to keep speaking for the full 2 minutes. So always aim to speak for 2 minutes for section 2. Also, make clear notes before speaking. You can make notes. It's always a good idea to do so because you should use these notes to keep you going, to give you the content rather, to keep on speaking if you're stuck at any point. The next point is that you should expand on the question by adding extra details. So you'll see you have certain notes in the question. Don't feel that you just have to stick with those notes. You can expand on those notes. You can add extra details, and that will be necessary for you to do in order to speak for the required period of time. And if you get a question where you're just really not sure and you can't think of anything from your own experience, invent details. The examiner will not check to see if what you're saying is accurate and is actually factually true. They just want to hear you speak English. So feel free to invent details where appropriate. Also notice the other points as well, the other tips. These are the same tips as with part 1, always the same with grammar, vocabulary, avoiding repetition. For part 2, though, fluency is going to be more important because you're speaking for between 1 to 2 minutes. So the examiner will be listening to see if you are using natural expressions to link ideas, if you're pausing at a natural point, or if you're pausing too much, so there's a breakdown in fluency. So this becomes a key part of part 2 and making sure that you are speaking in a fluent manner. Obviously, the areas of pronunciation and intonation are going to be assessed as well, just as they were with part 1. So these are some key tips then for part 2. I'm just going to bring you back in now then, Eagle. So I'm going to bring up a part 2 question, and you're going to have a minute to prepare your response to this question. Okay.
Okay.
So here is the question, and your minute to prepare begins now. Okay, are you ready to begin, Eagle?
Yeah, I will try.
Okay, so describe a time you were scared by an animal.
So I remember a time when my cousins had a joyride. So it was last 2015. So it was happened in a place where we decided to eat the exotic foods. So the place was in Laguna here in the Philippines. So actually, I was really scared about the snakes and everything about the snakes. And that time we decided to try new foods like the exotic foods. And one of those exotic food that time was a snake. So I am not really fan of trying new things and like trying new foods. But then again, I don't have I didn't have the chance to choose what I want to eat that time. But then again, I really tried to eat that preparation of the food. So I know I really knew the fact that the food was the snake, and in the first place. So I was really scared about that animal. Well, usually most of them are usually talking about the that kind of species. Well, they most of the people are really loved of eating that kind of exotic food. They thought that that food was really delicious and look same as the taste of a
Okay,
fried chicken.
thank you very much there, Eagle. Very, very interesting story. Although I would say that the animal should be more scared by you than you by the animal, since you were eating it.
Yeah, yes, of course.
um, okay, so yeah, so you reinterpreted the question a little bit. I think obviously the question is looking, a time you were scared by an animal. So what did the animal do to scare you? What did it do to make you feel afraid? But I guess you were eating the animal and you were afraid to eat it. So I guess that's an interesting interpretation of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of your positives there, Eagle, your pronunciation was very clear, and you expressed a number of ideas in the story, which helped to communicate effectively. There was some good use of vocabulary as well. Um, there was quite a bit of hesitation, and obviously, you were there thinking a lot. So the reason you have a minute to prepare initially is so that you can avoid having too much hesitation in your
Mm-hmm.
story. So yeah, do bear that in mind. There was quite a lot of pausing in
Mm-hmm.
your response.
All right.
Yeah. So also at one point you talked about a laguna.
Yeah, one of the provinces here in the Philippines. So it's located in the southern part of mainland of Luzon.
Right. Okay. So I think when you talk about a laguna, we do have like the word lagoon in English or a lake.
Oh, I
Um,
see.
but I
Mm-hmm.
think I think there was just a slight switch there. I think
All
in
right. Mm-hmm.
Spanish they call it laguna. I think.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and just a few slips in terms of grammar as well. So you said it was happened, but happened is already in the past, so you don't need to use
Mm-hmm.
was in this
Okay.
case. Um, and also, you at the end you talked about most of the people are really loved uh, of this food. So rather than are really loved, you can just say just really loved. It's just overusing of the verb to be
Mm-hmm.
in some of your verb expressions there. So yeah, just a few grammatical errors to look at.
All
Um,
right. Mm-hmm.
okay, but yeah, thank you very much. The Eagle, as I said, the pronunciation was strong. There was some good vocabulary, but yeah, just maybe if you just make a few more notes during your preparation time, that should help you in terms of sounding a bit more fluent.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So we'll have a look at another part 2 question, and this time I'll bring Summer into the class. Are you there, Summer?
Yes,
Great. How are you doing today?
I'm quite nervous.
Haha. Don't be too nervous. You've got a minute to prepare, so this should help you to relax a little bit. Um, okay, so where are you at the moment, Summer?
Currently, I'm in Singapore.
Okay. And where are you from originally?
I came from the Philippines. I'm working here in Singapore as a nurse. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So we're going to look at a different topic now. You can see the topic is school. So you have a minute, Summer, to prepare your response, and then you should talk about the topic for up to 2 minutes. Okay. Okay, so your minute starts now. Okay, Summer, are you ready to begin?
I'll try.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it. So, Summer, please describe your first day at school.
When I saw the cue card, I'm really flabbergasted because it's really remarkable. I mean, there's a remarkable event that it's really suits this topic. So to kick off, it was my grade one. I'm still on elementary that time, and it's the first day of the school. But I was late when I when I go to school, and I'm waiting for so long on the side of outside of my room because my classmates are still in the center of our school to do the flag ceremony. So when they came back from the flag ceremony, I'm really shy and just quiet. I'm just being quiet and never talk to anybody because I'm really frustrated that I was late on my first day of school. So the good thing is my teacher is really accommodating in terms that she helped me to bring me inside the room because I'm hesitant to go inside since it's like a punishment for me that I was being late. So at least she's still asked me to sit inside and just be quiet. But my classmates, the way they look at me is like um really um I cannot really describe how they look at me. And some are telling me that why you're late, it's your first day. So
Okay,
it's
thank you very much there, Summer. um, well done. So you got there to the 2 minutes where you were obviously talking about this topic. So yeah, so it seemed like you found the topic quite interesting.
I have nothing to say.
You had nothing to say. You had quite a lot to say. It sounded to me.
I don't know how to construct my sentence, how to do it
Okay.
clearly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously, a major part of part two is just you're just basically giving a description on an experience that you've had. So using sort of linking devices is important for part two. They don't have to be sort of overly complex linking devices, but things like so, that's why, because of that, those are the sorts of expressions that you would use just to link your ideas together. Things like when and after that.
Okay.
Those are the things that you're going to use. So you don't have to use like really complex vocabulary to link your ideas together, but those sorts of expressions will help to make your response more fluent. So
Okay.
yeah, so that would definitely be a good thing to use for part two. There was some really nice use of vocabulary in your response. So you said at the beginning, you said you were flabbergasted by it. I like the use of the term hesitant as well, which you said, and you described your teacher as being accommodating. So really nice use of vocabulary in this section. In terms of grammar, be careful because you weren't consistently using the past tense. So
Mm-mm.
you were using the present tense on quite a few occasions. You said, I am still in elementary school. My teacher is really accommodating.
Oh,
So, yeah, so be
okay.
careful with that.
Okay. Yeah.
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 Part two questions will often focus on a past experience, so that's a big part of
Mm-mm.
the grammar for part two. Do you use the past tense consistently and appropriately? So
Okay.
that would be one thing to focus on. But yeah, as I said, some really nice use of vocabulary there, and the pronunciation was accurate as well. So those are the strengths, but more ideas, more linking expressions. After that, because of that. So that's why those, again, sort of quite basic, but they're really useful when it comes to providing fluency for part two.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Summer,
Thank you
and
so much.
best of luck going forward. Um, okay, so I can see that there's some people that have been asking about more information relating to the scholarship program. As I say, do make sure that you contact Joy at ConneticsUSA.com. I'll put that email address in there one more time, and you will be able to get the information that you are looking for in relation to this opportunity going forward. So we've got time to do some more part two practice. So let me bring in Rona to the stream. Are you there, Rona?
Yeah, hi. Good evening.
Hi.
I don't know what time is it there, but it's like 8 p.m. here.
Okay, we're in the afternoon. It's almost 4,
Oh,
10 to
okay,
4.
yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
4 hours ahead of us by the looks of it.
Yes, yes.
How's your day been today, Rona?
It was great. We went
Oh,
to the
good.
park. Yeah.
Oh, very
With
nice.
my baby girl. She just
Okay.
started learning how to walk, yeah.
So you didn't have to carry her.
Yes.
Good, good. Okay, where are you at the moment?
I am currently living here in UAE, Dubai.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
So we're going to look at a different part two topic now then, Rona.
Yes, yes.
Same procedure as before. You will have a minute to prepare your response, and then you should speak for up to 2 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
So your minute to prepare starts now. Okay, Claire, are you ready?
Sorry, it's Rana.
Sorry, Rona. Sorry,
Yeah.
Rona. Are you ready?
Yeah. I I
Okay.
I I'd like to say yes, but it's okay. I will try.
Okay. So, please describe the time when you first taught in a foreign language.
Yeah. I'd like to talk about I'd like to talk about um a time where I first talk in a foreign language. It was 3 years back. I actually enrolled in a German class because that time I was planning to work in Germany. So I went to this German school in in Oman, and uh, I met this young lady in front of the she was in front of the office, and she's talking in a German language, but it's like I just learned that she's just saying hi to me and in Deutsch language. So at first I was really shocked, and I was shy how how um, to respond to her. But when the moment that she smiled and talked to me in English, I was in relief that I was able to talk to her nicely. So that moment, I'm really nervous, and it's I couldn't explain the feeling that I was really
Okay. Thank
yes,
you. Thank you very much, there, Rona. Um, so yeah, you kept on going there for the 2 minutes, hence why I stopped you, which was great. There was some hesitation though. You seemed to start off more confident, and then as it went on, you were hesitating more. Maybe you didn't make as many notes for
yes,
the later part. Yeah.
yeah,
So this is a key thing, isn't it? This is why making
yes,
notes
yes,
is so important for part two, because when you don't have those notes, it's sometimes your mind goes blank, and it
yes,
can be
yes,
a bit of a challenge.
yes,
So, yeah, one of the things to think about there is if you are getting towards the end, you're not sure what to say. There's a structure which I recommend, which is you begin in the past, move to the present, and then if there's still more that you need to come out with, move on to the future, because that will give you more to say. So in this case,
okay,
yeah, you
yeah,
talked about where it happened, when it happened, who you talked
yes,
to,
yes, yes,
but in the present you can say, when I think about it now and I compare it to how confident
yes,
I
yes,
am now, that gives you more content. And then in the future, like in the future, my goal is maybe to learn another language, or my goal is to travel so I get to practice even more, so it just
yeah,
gives
yeah,
you
yeah, I
more
understand,
things to
yes,
talk about. Yeah,
yes, yes, yes,
just to avoid the hesitation. But yeah, what you were saying was clear. Again, the pronunciation was accurate. There weren't any issues in terms of following the ideas that you were communicating. There was some nice use of vocabulary. You talked about enrolling on a course. You started off quite nicely as well. You said, I like to talk about when I first taught in a foreign language. So it's a good idea to give a little introduction to what you're
yeah,
going to say. So it was good that you did that. Um, but then you went on to, you say, you in Deutsch language. So Deutsch, you started to use German in
yes,
the
yes, sir,
so yeah, don't do that, because
okay,
yeah, obviously that's going to be confusing for someone who
okay,
doesn't
okay,
speak
okay,
speak German. So
yes, yes,
yeah. You then said, I was really shocked, but the adjective form there should be shocked.
okay,
So yeah, so shock is the noun, to be in shock, or it could be a verb, to shock someone. But yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah,
adjective, yeah, should be shocked. And also use an expression. You said I was in relief, but the expression should be I was relieved.
I
Um,
was really,
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So again, adjective form relieved is what you would use there. And just as well, most of the time you were very accurate in terms of using the past tense appropriately, but there was just one part at the end where you said, I'm really nervous. Of course, it should have been,
Yes.
I was in that case,
Yeah.
because you're talking about past experiences. So yeah, those are just some points there to reflect on, Rona. But
Thank you. Yes.
there were a lot of things that were positive as well. So well done.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we're coming towards the end of the class now. For those who have been watching on YouTube and Facebook, who would like to get involved further with what we're doing here, let me just again share with you the information on the scholarship program, or at least just make you aware of the fact that there is a scholarship program which we are offering. So I'll share the email address once again as well in the chat. So for those questions that you do have, please do send the email to Joy in relation to this, and she will answer those questions. So I'll just put that in the chat right now, so that you've got that information. Okay. So thank you for all those who have been watching the class today, as well as those who have participated. You're very welcome, Shine. I'm glad that it has been a helpful class for you. As I say, we will be running these classes on a weekly basis, from 3 to 4 UK time, on a Thursday. So yeah, the opportunity there is to participate for those involved in this program. So thank you very much once again, and I will see you next week.